Welcome to the deep dive. We have an incredible stack of sources from you, all centered around divine vessels, a global guide to sacred pantheons.
Yeah, this is a big one.
It is. And today, we're not just, listing gods. We're going on a rapid-fire tour of 7 major traditions to get the essence of how different cultures see the divine.
It's kind of a spiritual shortcut.
Exactly. A shortcut to the world's spiritual architecture.
And that architecture, it's really built around this idea of a pantheon.
Right. So what does that term actually mean in context?
Well, when we say pantheon, we're talking about these structured families of gods and goddesses, but they're more than just characters. They are embodiments of nature, of spiritual principles, of everything that makes up life in that culture.
So our mission today is pretty ambitious. We're going to pull out the core themes from 7 giants. We've got the Greek, Norse, Egyptian, Celtic, Yoruba, Hindu, and Mesopotamian pantheons.
But the real deep dive, I think, is how people actually use this today.
Yes, how modern seekers, witches, pagans, you name it, engage with these traditions. Because what we kept seeing in the sources over and over is that there is no single right pantheon.
It's all about alignment. That's the key. And to figure out what might align with you, we need to, get a feel for the spiritual flavor of each one.
Okay, so let's start with 2 pillars of the West. They're probably the most familiar, but they have these really dramatic contrasts in how they see the world.
Human agency versus cosmic fate.
Let's unpack the Greeks first.
Uh-huh.
The Olympians. Everyone knows them. They're on Mount Olympus, led by Zeus, god of sky and law.
And they feel like this eternal human drama.
Totally. What's so wild is how they act as this spiritual mirror. The sources describe them as deeply human.
And they are. We're talking about gods who are emotional, flawed, jealous.
Oh, so jealous.
And powerful, but also just petty. Incredibly petty sometimes.
It's a cosmic soap opera, really. You have Zeus, who's never faithful, and his wife Hera, goddess of marriage, who is just legendary for her vengeance.
And then you have the gods, who are just raw forces of nature. Poseidon ruling the seas, Hades down in the underworld.
And the ones who speak to what we do, to human endeavor, like Athena, for wisdom and justice, versus Ares, who's just brute force.
Right. Or Aphrodite, representing love and beauty, but she often uses it to cause total chaos.
So how do you get a spiritual lesson from all that drama?
I think it shows us the messy reality of power and emotion. Modern practitioners aren't just, praying to them. They're actively working with Athena for strategy or maybe with Aphrodite for a love spell.
But they're acknowledging the complexity. It's not just give me love, it's help me navigate the chaos of love.
Exactly. And the offerings are simple, respectful things. Wine, honey, incense.
Okay, so if the Greeks are all about internal human flaws, how does the Norse contrast with that?
The focus shifts completely. With the Norse, it's all about external cosmic destiny. It comes from ancient Scandinavian traditions, and it's rooted in, nature, resilience, and a sense of fatalism.
And their cosmology is so different. It's not one mountain, it's this massive cosmic tree, Yggdrasil.
Right. Connecting 9 whole realms. It immediately tells you these gods are tied to the fate of the entire cosmos, not just their family squabbles.
Their world is defined by cold, by survival, and by the shadow of Ragnarok.
The end of days. It's unavoidable, and they know it.
And that drives everything. Their core themes become honor, courage, wisdom through sacrifice.
You see it in figures like Odin, who literally sacrifices his eye for cosmic insight. Or Thor, the protector you need to survive.
And Loki, the trickster.
He's the chaos that's necessary to move destiny forward.
So modern seekers tap into this for resilience. They might invoke Thor for protection or Odin for some, deep, maybe painful insight.
And we also see the use of runes for divination and this practice called sire.
Let's define sire, because that's a specific term. It's not just general magic, is it?
No, not at all. The sources describe it as a kind of trance work. It was often done by priestesses, shamans, and it was all about prophecy, seeing fate, and maybe even influencing it a little.
So even in a fatalistic world, you can prepare.
Exactly, you can prepare.
Okay, let's shift gears now. Let's move to traditions that are really rooted in the land and in cosmic order. Where do we start?
We start with the Egyptian pantheon. Their whole system is just built on this idea of cosmic balance, what they called Mat.
In that cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Those all tied to the Nile, right?
Absolutely. The stability of the Nile's flooding was everything. Their gods were guides for the soul in the afterlife, making sure that cycle continued properly.
So Mat isn't just balance. It's more like the scaffolding of the universe.
That's a great way to put it. It's the structure holding everything back from chaos, order over disorder.
And their gods personify this. You have Ra, the sun god,
Ra.
Isis, goddess of magic and healing.
And her husband, Osiris, who is the literal embodiment of death and resurrection.
Then you got Anubis, the guide, the one who makes sure your transition to the afterlife goes smoothly.
And Bastet, the protector of the home. So for modern practice, you might work with Isis for deep healing work, or with Anubis when you're going through a major life change.
Spiritual transition.
Right. And the rituals use things like the Ankh symbol, or simple offerings of water and bread, things the Nile provided, life itself.
Okay, so from that very structured river-based order, we jump over to the Celts. They're also tied to the land, but in a totally different way.
Much wilder, less structured. We're talking about traditions from ancient Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
It's a spirituality of the forest and the hills.
Exactly. Where the Egyptians wanted predictable cosmic order, the Celts were focused on the cycles of the seasons, the ancestors, and this mysterious spirit world they called the Otherworld.
And their deities reflect that wildness. You have someone like the Morrigan.
A powerful, terrifying goddess of war, fate, and transformation.
And then Brigid, who is all about healing, poetry, fire. The creative spark.
Or Cernunnos, the horned god of the wilderness, and Danu, the great mother goddess of the land itself.
Their whole spiritual framework is the wheel of the year, which so many modern pagans follow.
And their rituals are deeply earth-based. They happen outdoors, with fire, with water, especially during those big seasonal festivals like Samhain or Beltane. It's a very hands-on spirituality.
Okay, now let's broaden our scope, really go global. We've seen human drama, cosmic fate, and land-based balance. Let's look at traditions defined by community, infinity, and truly ancient roots.
Let's start with the Yoruba pantheon, sacred African spirituality from West Africa.
This system has had a huge global influence.
Monumental. It honors these powerful spirits called Orishas, and it's so resilient and adaptable that it became the foundation for religions like Santeria and Candomblé.
It survived being forcibly moved across continents.
Because its core is so strong, the Orishas govern parts of nature and life. You have Oshun, for love and rivers, Yemaya, the great mother of the ocean,
And Ogun, the Orisha of iron and labor, and Elegua, who is so important.
the trickster, the opener of paths. You can't do anything without his permission.
So what's the central theme here?
It's all about community, connection to your ancestors, and balancing the material and spiritual worlds. Music, dance, offerings, they're all absolutely central. It's a spirituality that is lived every single day.
That's a powerful model. Now let's pivot to the Hindu pantheon. This one is fundamentally different from everything else we've talked about.
It really is. The complexity here needs some clarity. Unlike, say, the Greek model with separate gods like Zeus and Hera, Hinduism suggests there's one single divine essence, Brahman.
So all the thousands of gods and goddesses?
They're not separate beings. They're just different facets, different expressions of that one infinite source.
So you have the Trimurti, the main triad, Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver.
And Shiva the destroyer and transformer. But they're not three different gods fighting for power. They are three roles of the one divine essence.
And that completely changes the spiritual goal.
It does. You also have goddesses like Lakshmi for wealth, and Kali, who is this fierce embodiment of destruction for the sake of rebirth.
So the themes are much more philosophical. Karma, reincarnation, and this ultimate goal of moksha.
Liberation. And moksha isn't just about going to heaven. It's the realization that your individual soul, your Atman, is actually the same as Brahman.
So you escape the cycle of rebirth entirely.
It's a profound path, and it's admired for its deep, intricate symbolism.
All right, for our last one, let's go way back to the very beginning of recorded polytheism.
To the Mesopotamian pantheon. We're talking Sumerian and Babylonian traditions in modern-day Iraq. These are the oldest traditions we're covering.
And that historical context is so important. These gods weren't just about nature. They reflected the birth of civilization, of cities, agriculture, laws.
They really set the template for a lot of later Greek and Roman ideas.
Who are the key figures here?
You have Inanna, later known as Ishtar. She's this incredibly powerful goddess of love, war, and transformation.
There's also Enlil, the god of air and storms. Enki, for wisdom and water.
And Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld. A truly terrifying figure.
In Anna's story, her myth of descending to the underworld and returning is one of the oldest stories of death and rebirth we have.
And what's amazing is that she is still revered today by many modern seekers as a goddess of empowerment, of breaking boundaries. It shows how these ancient archetypes are still so powerful.
That was a huge journey. So we've gone through human drama, cosmic fate, balance, nature, community, infinity, and ancient history.
Wow. Yeah.
So if you're listening, how do you even begin to navigate all this? Where do you start?
The first thing to remember is the core principle. You don't have to pick just one. Many modern practitioners work eclectically.
They work with deities from different pantheons.
Yes, honoring whoever aligns with what they need in that moment.
But if you are looking for that initial connection, that spark, what draws people in?
The sources suggest a few things. It could be your ancestry or a deep cultural interest. It could be a powerful intuition, maybe from a dream or a vision.
So it's about an emotional connection.
A profound emotional or spiritual alignment with the themes that god or goddess represents.
But there's a checklist, right?
Yeah.
A pre-engagement checklist.
Yes, and this part is non-negotiable. It's about respect. Before you work with any deity, you have to do the work. These are powerful entities with thousands of years of worship behind them.
So step one, study.
Study their mythology, understand their symbols and what they mean in their original context.
And then approach them with respect, offerings, prayer.
As is appropriate for that tradition. You're not just grabbing a tool from a toolbox. You are engaging with a deep history and a living spiritual force. You have to honor the culture they came from.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive. And if we boil it all down, the main takeaway is pretty simple, but profound.
The divine has many faces, many names, many expressions.
It really reflects the diversity of the human spirit. We've gone from Athena's strategic wisdom to Freya's fierce power.
From the magic of Isis to the creative fire of Brigid and the deep resilience of the Orishas.
Each system is a map for navigating our world.
Both our internal world and the external one.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
I think the ultimate insight from looking at all these pantheons is that the search itself for wisdom, for power, for transformation is universal.
It doesn't matter if you're wrestling with the internal drama, like the Greeks.
Or if you're seeking that total transcendence from the drama, like the path to moksha, the connection you find validates your specific journey.
And when you validate that deeply personal search, you realize your path is sacred.
Precisely because it is yours.
And that is something to really mull on until our next deep dive.